Baltimore General, an episodic medical drama. Written by Blue Bolton. Episode 1, Transfer of Care, Chapter 15. Emilia's eyes traced over Jordan's lab results for the third time, her breath catching as she absorbed what the numbers revealed. 24 hours of chelation therapy and plasma exchange had driven his copper levels down, liver enzymes no longer climbing, ammonia levels decreased, the paralysis frozen in its tracks. Jordan wasn't safe yet, nowhere close, but he'd stabilized. For the first time since they'd wheeled him in with crimson streaming from his mouth, Jordan Hall had stopped actively dying. Her finger slid across the tablet screen, following the trend lines. Platelets dangerously low but holding steady. Kidney function showing faint improvement. Metabolic acidosis resolving. "You look like you're reading a love letter." Emilia jumped, the tablet nearly slipping from her fingers. Tabitha Ross leaned against the doorframe of Jordan's room, arms crossed, a knowing smile playing at her lips. "Just checking his labs," Emilia said. "Uh-huh." Tabitha crossed to Jordan's bedside, her hands moving with efficiency over IV lines and monitors. "Third time in an hour. I've been counting." "Is it that obvious?" "Only to someone who's been nursing for 20 years. Tabitha tugged Jordan's blanket higher, tucking it carefully around his thin shoulders. "You did good, doctor. Not many people would have put Wilson's disease on their differential for a 16-year-old with autism and a migraine medication overdose." "It wasn't just me," Emilia said. "Dr. Shaw wouldn't have gotten there without you," Tabitha finished. "Trust me, I know Sloane Shaw. She's brilliant, but she's not a metabolic specialist. You brought something new to the table." Pride flickered through Emilia before uncertainty doused it. "We still don't know for sure. The ceruloplasmin test won't be back until tomorrow." "Look at him," Tabitha said, gesturing toward Jordan's sleeping form. "Yesterday he was circling the drain. Today he's stable. Whatever you did, it's working." Emilia couldn't deny the evidence before her. The yellow tinge had faded from Jordan's skin. His chest rose and fell in deeper, more regular rhythms. They'd dialed back the ventilator settings. Even the pallor had lifted from his face. "His mother will be back soon," Tabitha said. She went to shower and change clothes. "First time she's left his side in 3 days. I should be here when she gets back," Emilia said, "to explain the treatment plan." "Which will be exactly the same in an hour as it is now," Tabitha pointed out. "Go take a break, doctor." "You've been on shift for," she glanced at her watch, 36 hours straight." "I'm fine. You're dead on your feet. Go, eat something, take a shower, sleep for an hour. I promise I'll page you if anything changes." Emilia hesitated, then nodded. Exhaustion weighed on her bones, her body running on nothing but adrenaline and bitter coffee. "Page me if anything changes. I know." Tabitha shooed her toward the door. "Go." Emilia's mind clung to Jordan's case as she walked out of the ICU. The diagnosis fit like a key in a lock. Wilson's disease explained everything: the bleeding, the seizures, the liver failure, the neurological issues. The vascutril overdose had simply been the trigger, pushing his already compromised system past the breaking point. But why had he taken so much vascutril? According to his mother, Jordan was meticulous about his medication. He took exactly what was prescribed, when it was prescribed. He didn't make mistakes. So either someone had given him too much medication, or— Emilia shoved the thought away. Her brain felt wrapped in cotton. She needed food, a shower, and at least a power nap before tackling that question. She turned toward the staff lounge only to find Dr. Winters blocking her path, the neurologist who had initially diagnosed Jordan's seizures as epilepsy. Dr. Carter, he said, voice like ice. I understand you've diagnosed my patient with Wilson's disease. Our patient, Emilia corrected automatically. And yes, that's our working diagnosis. The initial response to chelation therapy supports it. Based on what evidence? Winters demanded. You haven't even confirmed it with laboratory tests. We didn't have time to wait for confirmation. Jordan was deteriorating rapidly. So you started a potentially dangerous treatment based on a hunch. Based on clinical presentation and response to therapy, Emilia said, keeping her voice level. The treatment is working, Doctor. Winters, his condition has stabilized. Temporarily, Winters said dismissively. You've bought him a few hours, maybe a day, but the damage is done. His liver is failing. His brain is compromised. Even if your diagnosis is correct, which I doubt, he'll need a liver transplant to survive. That's a possibility, Emilia acknowledged, but it's premature to make that call. Let's see how he responds to the chelation therapy. I've consulted on this case for 3 years, Winters said. I've seen Jordan through multiple hospitalizations. I know his history, his condition, his prognosis. You've been here for 3 days. Sometimes a fresh perspective. Sometimes people should respect boundaries. Winters cut her off. Jordan is my patient. I don't appreciate you swooping in with wild theories and experimental treatments. Heat flared in Emilia's chest. With all due respect, Doctor. Winters, your management of Jordan's case missed a critical diagnosis. If we hadn't intervened, he would be dead by now. Winters's face flushed crimson. You have no idea what you're talking about. Jordan's condition is complex. His autism complicates the clinical picture. The seizures are part of his neurodevelopmental disorder. The seizures are a symptom of copper toxicity, Emilia countered, as are the coordination problems, the tremors, and the cognitive changes that you attributed to his autism. You can't possibly know that. His response to treatment suggests otherwise. Winters stepped closer, dropping his voice. Listen carefully, Doctor. Carter, I don't know what game you're playing, but it stops now. I've already spoken to Dr. Bird about your unauthorized treatment plan. She's not pleased. I don't report to Dr. Bird, Emilia said. I report to the head of emergency medicine. We all report to the chief of staff eventually, Winters said with a thin smile, especially when patient care is compromised. Patient care was compromised long before I arrived, Emilia said. Jordan has been suffering from an undiagnosed metabolic disorder for years while under your care. Winters's smile vanished. You're making a serious accusation, Dr. Carter, one that could have consequences for your career. I'm stating facts, Emilia replied. Jordan's condition is improving under the current treatment plan. That's all that matters. We'll see, Winters said. Dr. Bird has called a case review for tomorrow morning. I suggest you prepare your defense. He brushed past her, deliberately knocking his shoulder against hers. Emilia watched him go, a cold knot twisting in her stomach. She'd expected pushback challenging an established diagnosis always ruffled feathers, but not such open hostility. And a case review? After 1 day? That was unusual to say the least. She needed to find Shaw. They needed to coordinate their approach, present a united front. Jordan's care depended on it. Emilia headed for the stairwell, taking the stairs 2 at a time. Shaw would most likely be in surgery or in her office on the 4th floor. The elevator would be faster, but Emilia needed to move, to burn off the anxiety Winters had stirred up. Her footsteps echoed in the concrete stairwell. As she rounded the landing between the 2nd and 3rd floors, she collided with someone coming down. Whoa, Shaw said, her hand steadying Emilia's arm. Where's the fire? I was looking for you, Emilia said, slightly breathless. Congratulations, you found me. Shaw's eyes scanned her face. What's wrong? Winters just cornered me. He's not happy about our diagnosis. I imagine not, Shaw said. We basically told him he missed a textbook case of Wilson's disease for 3 years. He's called a case review for tomorrow morning, with Bird. Shaw's expression hardened. Of course he has. Winters and Bird go way back. He was her resident when she was an attending. So she'll take his side? Not necessarily. Bird's loyal, but she's also practical. If Jordan improves, she'll back the winning team. Shaw leaned against the railing. How is he? Stable, Emilia said. His labs are trending in the right direction. The paralysis hasn't progressed. Good, Shaw nodded, satisfaction glinting in her eyes. You're good. The compliment caught Emilia off guard. Thank you. Your differential was spot on. Your treatment plan was aggressive but appropriate. You stood your ground when challenged. Shaw's gaze cut through her, assessing. Not many first-year attendings would have the confidence to push back against a senior neurologist. You're reckless, Emilia countered, remembering how Shaw had bulldozed ahead with treatment before they had confirmation. Shaw raised an eyebrow. Reckless? I saved that kid's life. We saved his life, Emilia corrected, and we took a huge risk doing it, starting chelation therapy without confirming the diagnosis. Would you rather we waited for the labs while he deteriorated? Shaw asked. Sometimes you have to trust your clinical judgment and act. I'm not saying we were wrong, Emilia clarified. I'm saying it was a risk, a calculated one, but still a risk. Medicine is risk, Shaw said simply. Every decision we make is a balance of potential benefit against potential harm. You know that. I do, Emilia admitted, but most doctors try to minimize risk. You seem to thrive on it. Shaw's lips curved in a half smile. Maybe I do. And yet you stayed. The words hung between them, weighted with meaning beyond their surface. Emilia had stayed through the diagnosis, through the treatment, through the long hours monitoring Jordan's response. She could have handed off to another attending, gone home hours ago, but she hadn't. I stayed for Jordan, Emilia said, but even to her own ears, it sounded like only part of the truth. Just for Jordan? Shaw asked, stepping closer. The stairwell suddenly shrank around them, intimate and close. Emilia's skin prickled with awareness of Shaw's proximity, the faint scent of her perfume mingling with antiseptic, the intensity burning in her dark eyes. Why else would I stay? Emilia asked, her voice dropping to a whisper. Shaw moved closer still until their toes nearly touched on the narrow landing. You tell me, Doctor. Carter. Emilia's heart hammered against her ribs, and not from climbing stairs. She should step back, create distance, maintain professional boundaries. But her body refused to move. Her gaze dropped to Shaw's mouth-full lips, slightly parted, beckoning her like a dangerous promise. Shaw noticed. Of course she noticed. Her eyes darkened, pupils dilating. Dangerous territory, Doctor. Carter. I don't know what you mean, Emilia whispered, the lie transparent between them. Yes, you do. Shaw's voice dropped to a low growl. You're looking at my mouth like you want to taste it. Heat surged through Emilia's body, desire crackling through her veins so intensely it made her dizzy. Or maybe that was exhaustion, or hunger, or the closeness of the stairwell. But she knew better. That would be inappropriate, she managed. Completely, Shaw agreed, not retreating an inch. We're colleagues. Exactly. It would complicate things. It would create a power imbalance. Yes. So we shouldn't, Shaw murmured, her gaze dropping to Emilia's lips. We definitely shouldn't, Emilia agreed, even as she swayed toward Shaw. Electricity crackled between them, raising goosebumps along Emilia's skin. One of them needed to step back, break the spell before they crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Neither moved. Shaw's hand hovered near Emilia's face, not quite touching. "Tell me to stop," she whispered. Emilia couldn't speak, couldn't think. All she could do was feel her heart racing, her breath coming in shallow pulls, the magnetic pull toward Shaw that defied logic and professional ethics and common sense. Shaw's fingers brushed her cheek, feather-light, sending a shiver down Emilia's spine. "Last chance, Carter. Tell me to stop." Instead, Emilia closed the distance between them. Their lips met in a kiss that was nothing like Emilia had imagined, and she had imagined it, in moments of weakness, in dreams she pretended to forget. It wasn't gentle or tentative. It was hungry, desperate, as if they'd both been starving for this without knowing it. Shaw's hands framed her face, thumbs stroking her cheekbones. Emilia's fingers tangled in Shaw's hair, pulling her deeper into the kiss. The world narrowed to points of contact, lips, hands, bodies pressing closer. The stairwell door banged open one floor below, followed by voices and footsteps.